Welcome to the podcast pad and our first episode of Talkin' Food. We're here with Eric Schwartz from MinutemanPress in Washington Township on the Black Horse Pike, New Jersey. Welcome, Eric, and thanks for coming on the podcast.
It's good to be here, John. It's good to be a part of starting something new.
Absolutely. So, the reason I asked you in is we are starting this new podcast because it's going to be food related, food driven. And one of the things that you do is you provide services to restaurants and food manufacturers and companies that produce food with printing, signage, and things of that nature. Tell us a little bit about that. Like how can you help local businesses that are restaurants or if it's a food manufacturer or someone in that business, how can you help them?
For the restaurants that we have in our client base right now, the most popular product is a menu. We print menus, we laminate menus, we replace menus, we'll mail menus if that's an advertising method that the restaurant wants to use. We also do a lot of we have still some food producers, wine producers. We've printed some pretty fancy labels over the years for wine bottles. We do some smaller jobs for I'll call them wine hobbyists. A lot of labels for the wine hobbyists, the limoncello hobbyists. So a lot of labels.
Yeah. When it comes to labels, I mean, we in the industry, I used to be in the spice business. Labels are a unique, I call them a commodity because, the way that you print labels, they have machines now that are thermal printers, right? So you could print one label and then you could print, the different products on the label. They also have, custom labels. Good friend of mine owns Key West Spices, and he has some pretty elaborate 4-color process labels. So those are things that you could do, right? Yep. For wine bottles.
Certainly.
For any kind of food product, right? If it's a pickle jar or a hot sauce or anything like that.
Yeah, we've worked with bakeries, putting labels on a pie box.
Okay.
Cookies, cakes, all that packaging needs labels.
Sure.
And it's a big part of the retail and wholesale food channels. But yeah, there's still a good number of manufacturers. There's a lot more small manufacturers. I think the laws changed in New Jersey about in the last 5 years that allows people to make food at their home and not have to use the commissary model that had been in place before.
Okay.
As long as they're kind of small. I don't know all the specifics about it, but we've gotten a couple different people who are sort of growing a baked goods business or some other kind of food production out of a home. That's an interesting part.
We need to get those people on this podcast.
Yeah.
Mike and Lane, we need to look into that and see how that law is changing to allow the businesses to be able to do that.
Mm-hmm.
But that's interesting. And so, Jersey, home of diners, right? Diner clients at all? Or
we have there's a diner across the street from my my shop called the Whitman Diner. We've printed for them quite a bit over the years. There's a lot of, it's just a variety of, we have a variety of steak joints, Italian restaurants. I believe we got our first Indian restaurant this year.
Oh, no kidding.
Very, brand new place in Washington Township, the Peacock Platter. I'll drop the name.
Right there. And
it's
give a shout out to 'em.
It's cool.
Good.
It's cool. The food space is terrific. It's kind of keeps regenerating itself when people come up with new ventures. They sometimes they're restaurants, sometimes they're. We do actually. And also in the, I think it's Indian food space. Ton of labels for what you may know that I can teach the term if you don't know it. It's called tiffin. There's a restaurant in Cherry Hill in Philadelphia, a lot of other places called Tiffin. But Tiffin is a generic term for, it's basically like lunch in the Indian in the country of India, in a place like Mumbai, where you order lunch. It comes in a tray. There's an elaborate infrastructure to deliver the lunch to the person in the office, and then retrieve the trays. So it's this kind of closed system. And my customer works out of his house, very close to my shop. Um, Once or twice a year, gets a ton of labels, and he's labeling these same trays. Now, in the U.S., we're a little more disposable, so he's creating just packages and doing his deliveries, not getting return metal trays.
Right.
But it is a Tiffin model in the delivery sense of Indian food. And he's a good, he pops up every 6 to 12 months. He pops up. We do like 10,000 labels for him. And he's an interesting guy. He must be moving some food out of his house.
Indian food. I'll be honest. We went to a wedding in North Jersey for a gentleman that worked for me. Got married, and they had a spread of Indian food that was it was amazing. Right, the chicken. Everything was spicy, which I'm a spicy guy. I love hot, spicy food. And like it hit my palate, right? My girlfriend, on the other hand, she can go either way. But it was a generous portion of, your chickens and different meats and rices and stuff. And, every culture obviously has different foods. But it's interesting because you think printing, right? You don't think, when you're thinking printing, you're like, well, yeah, everything they do, you use labels, you do, menus, down to the tray, the tabletop mats, things of that nature. So, signage, right? We've worked together for several years, and you've done multiple signs for me on multiple companies. And every time the signs have been, perfect. So,
Thank you.
That's why, I wanted to have you on. I wanted to talk a little bit about, what you could do for the food industry. And it's great that you have the ability to bring in some of these, like the Tiffin story. Anything else that you want to go over?
We have I'll share with you. I'll drop some local food names for you. One of our newest customers is Captain Chucky's. You familiar with Captain Chucky's?
I'm not.
Okay, Captain Chucky's is actually a franchise, very deep into the crab cake and shrimp and seafood world. Not a restaurant. They're over in Runnymede, not too far from the 42.
Okay.
And we've done a small project for them so far, and they got some bigger ideas for some stuff they want to do. And they told me about a business that I should have known about since I've grown up and lived here for a long time. Stock's Pound Cake.
Okay.
Familiar with it?
I'm not.
Okay. Ask your friends.
Mike, are you familiar with Stock's Pound Cake?
Stock's is it's probably the most famous food that we don't know about.
Okay.
We're like, oh, we know. We know Jersey. We know Philadelphia.
Right.
What's the tasty cake? What?
Right.
Stock's Pound Cake. My man at Chucky's, Captain Chucky's, he says, once they start advertising that they have Stock's Pound Cake, people come Christmas time, Thanksgiving time. He's been there for like a year, maybe one season's worth. They buy 20 at a time.
Oh, well.
It's the main ingredient is butter in the pound cake.
Okay.
It's very rich, but it's very beloved, and people know it.
Right.
And so if you spread the word a little bit about, Captain Chucky's, and they have the Stock's Pound Cake in Jersey, people are like, oh yeah, we know. Oh, we know. And the volume that he was describing, and I was just, sharing the story of something that I was like, everybody else knew about, but I didn't have any idea.
Well, that's a great story, and I'll give you another one. In our town, I live in Woolwich, Swedesboro. There's a place called Swedesboro Diner, or Swedesboro Bakery. Sorry. So Swedesboro Bakery, the owner of it, her grandfather was a Philadelphia guy, and he made this butter cake, which is literally just melted. It's just, I mean, this thing is unbelievably sweet and delicious, and you can eat the whole thing yourself, right? You're sick as a dog afterwards because you ate so many sweets, but the stuff is just off the chart. And with with that being said, it's like a hidden gem. Like unless you go there to buy that, you don't know what you're getting.
Yeah.
I mean, they have the raspberry cookies, and you just go there and you buy pounds of raspberry cookies because when you have a party, people come over. That's the first thing they go for. Forget the cheeseburgers; they go for the raspberry cookies.
Yeah.
So it's just like, so. Speaking of the pound cake, it's just amazing how something like that, as simple as a pound cake, right, is so delicious, but yet has the tendency to kind of drive people in that in that direction to say, all right, look, we're going over here to get a pound cake, right? Uh, but yeah, I mean, it's just it's amazing how many hidden gems are out there.
That
Right?
might be a good opportunity for the podcast. You could make it your business to find the gems, to find the hidden
That's
stuff.
what we want,
And that,
right?
it takes legwork.
Of
You got to
course.
talk to
Of course.
25 people
Of course.
to find, one or three, there's a lot of written about, the best 10 things to get in Jersey or at the Jersey
Right,
Shore.
right.
There's some of that. And then to get that kind of content onto this podcast would really, I think, make it compelling.
Absolutely.
That's
Lane, you hear that, Lane?
And fun.
That's one of our projects.
Fun. I think it'd be fun to talk.
Oh,
about.
sure would be.
Yep.
And bring them in. We want them to come
That's
in,
right.
right? And
That's
talk
right.
about who they are and what they do, right? That's
Yep.
part of why we're doing this. Because it's important for us as a business owner, multiple business owners, to help other businesses grow, right? Like that's my number one priority, is to help businesses grow. That's why I want you on here. That's why anybody that I can bring in that is, food related, because that's what our topics are going to be, is help them grow and help them become noticed. That we want to bring the hidden gems into the podcast, right? So we have a team of people here that, from social media to our film production, and this is something that you could probably spread the word on as well. So what we've done is we become a full media group. So we can do high-end commercials. Our production teams have done some really elaborate commercials. We're working with multiple companies on their expansion into specific markets, right? If they have a franchise, or we have another gentleman, good friend of mine. His name is Jerry Longo. You probably heard of Longo's famous meatballs. Well, he's going to be doing a launch, and supposedly is looking and trying to work with Costco to get those meatballs into their stores. These meatballs, my girlfriend and I just had them the other night. Unbelievable, right? They're just unbelievable. And it's just that's the hidden gem, right? The world needs to know about it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure.
And that's something that our objective is to make the world know about what's happening. I want to bring restaurants in. So when someone comes in from outside of Philadelphia and New Jersey market and they're staying here, they know where to go, right? That's a big incentive for me to do this podcast, because I want to help promote the businesses in our community and nationally, right? So that's kind of the direction we're headed. And
That's great.
And if anyone listening or watching, please spread the word. Get some of these people in here. We want to talk to them about how they started, what interests them, what ingredients they like to use. We don't want them to tell the family secret, but we'd like people to know what they're about and how they do what they do. So anything else that you want to add? Let's talk a little bit more about the company, MinutemanPress, things that you do.
Sure. We lead with direct mail. We do a lot of, the key for a lot of businesses, restaurants, small food producers, all kinds of businesses, is advertising. And, you can, there's a lot of digital advertising, and we don't tell people that you shouldn't do digital advertising. We say that print advertising is complementary to digital advertising. And, the tools of print advertising include direct mail. And direct mail is, when somebody says to me they want to, you can print 10,000 door hangers and spread the word. But if you wanted to reach 10,000 addresses, consumers, there's a little less legwork if you put it into direct mail. And that's our sort of mission in terms of on the advertising side of printing. Businesses, can spend on Google, and we spend on Google, and do all kinds of different. There's Facebook advertising you can do. There's a lot of different platforms that you can advertise on, and digital is terrific. It's always works better. We found that when you complement it with printed
Sure.
direct mail.
So there's a strategy that you guys put in place.
Yep.
So you'll look at each individual business and say, all right, well, we think this strategy is best for you.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. There's a new contractor came in. He's just started with us, and he tells me he wants to do some advertising, and we can do a small campaign to get him started. You don't have to mail 10,000 pieces. You can mail 700 pieces or 500 pieces. And just as a way of, it's a simple way of, it's the, we used to say, put the flyer on the windshield at Walmart.
Right.
Everybody goes to Walmart, put the flyers on the windshield.
There you go.
It's the same kind of thing, a little less legwork, but a little more efficient. And one of the things I like to mention in these kinds of talks is, in the working with the digital, it comes together in the QR code. Everything much of what we print, not everything, usually has a QR code.
Okay.
And that's also the key for any kind of direct mail. You got your message, you got your call to action. Hit our QR code.
And that's going to take them to a website.
That's going to take them wherever you want them to arrive.
Sure.
Buy, learn, make a reservation, whatever.
Yeah. To me, we get obviously direct mail, right? Pizza shops, right? Hoagie shops. And I see, like, obviously, like, so we keep a stack of them, right? So we don't know who we're going to order from that day, but if we have options, right, it's good.
Yep.
So get it out there, get that piece of material out there. Some people are going to throw it away, but you're going to get a majority of them people to keep it, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I tell my girlfriend all the time, we had like a stack like this. Like, why do we have a stack of, well, you never know if we need it. Well, it's a good way to get the word out.
One of the most interesting pieces of direct mail that we all get, I'll say we get once a year or fewer, is it's usually a postcard. My opinion is it's a postcard from Wawa.
Okay.
Wawa, of all the businesses, food business, right? Not
Sure.
just a food business.
Right.
They will send me a postcard telling me either there's a new location, they have a new credit card. It's usually not a credit card kind of solicitation. It's usually very Wawa, like new product.
Right.
But they don't do it every week or every month, and they don't even do it every year. But occasionally,
Right.
I will hold on to that Wawa postcard. Like, of all the businesses that really don't need to advertise that way,
right.
they feel we're going to make it extra clear to this audience.
Sure.
That this is. I don't have a really good example right now, but it's that unusual signal in the noise.
Sure, top of the line marketing, right? Let's keep everybody in tune with what we're doing and how we're doing it, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, when you have over 1,200 stores, it's a
little different.
It's a little different.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So, I mean, we're really excited that you were able to come in. Anyone that you do business with that's interested in coming on, please, let's get them in here. Let's help them promote. It'll help you. It'll help them. And we're just looking to spread the word on those foodies, right? Those food people that, really want to know what's happening, right? And what's going on out there. So, we appreciate you coming into the podcast pad today. I'm John Maroney, and this is Talking Food with Eric Schwartz from MinutemanPress. Thanks again for coming in. You want to give everyone an address or a website that
sure
they could take?
Sure. MinutemanPress is at 5051 Route 42 in Turnersville, New Jersey, And we're at MinutemanPrints.com. That's PRINTS.com. And you can also call us at 856-232-7700.
Excellent. Thanks for coming in.
All right, John. Great.
Appreciate it.